Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well. In today's creative intuitive transmission, we are going to have a look at the artwork we've created with Japanese washi chiyogami paper collage, and you can see it on my right here. And the title of this artwork is Antinoïl. Antinoïl. However, we will be talking about that a little bit later. First of all, before we analyze the iconography or the symbolism of the representation from this collage, we're going to have a look at the two pieces of music who inspired today's message or things that I'm sharing with you today. The first piece of music that we have is a piece by the group Cat Power. And the piece of music itself, the song, is called Half of You. It's a relatively sad song regarding the lyrics talk about a woman who feels that her partner is only giving her half of him or is being partly present to her. We could be talking about maybe there's a betrayal there. Maybe he's, having an affair. Who cares? This is this is a metaphor. This is a metaphor for a relationship where one person, one being, feels that it's not complete. The relationship is not complete because a part of this relationship or a member of this relationship is not completely there. It's half there. Oh, it's lying. It's saying something, but it's doing something else. So there's this notion of betrayal there. That's interesting. The main words of the lyrics of the song is, when you give half of you, I want all of you, which I thought was interesting. So it's a beautiful kind of sad song. And we'll have a look at the symbolism of that in combination with other elements. The second piece of music we have today is a beautiful, very calm, very peaceful, very meditative, very contemplative piece of flute music by Tony Scott. It's an old album from 1965, and I keep listening to it every day. It's such a beautiful music with such high frequencies of it's an album called Music for Zen Meditation. So it really has this Japanese Zen feel to it. And the title of the piece of music is All Not One, is All Not One. So in the two pieces of music, we have this notion of a sense of not being complete, a sense of or a question, how could we be more complete? How could we be one, not only as a species, as a people, but as individuals? And today's I have to say that the inspiration coming from the music, but also from my inner guidance, and which is, as you know, my higher self, actually the Mela Collective, which is my soul cluster that actually I am part of. So the Mela Collective, which I am part of, we felt the desire and need to share this message today, which is also suggested and inspired by the piece of music and also by the background behind us. The background behind us is this sailboat that's on an ocean, and that is heading towards some destination, hopefully, where there's these beautiful white light. There seems to be a storm there as well, which is part of the challenges of life. But the water is an opportunity for this sailboat to reach a certain destination. And so I think there's also some interesting iconography there and symbolism in this representation of the sailboat. Sailboats, they're dependent of the wind, but when they put their when they're steering towards a certain point, a certain directions, and whatever the wind brings, and the sails have to go from one side to the other depending where the wind goes. The seaman or the seawoman, the person who's I'm trying to find the right word, who's steering that boat, they have a priority. They know what their destination is. They know what point they want to reach. And they adapt to the wind direction and to the power of the wind, but always they have in mind that point where they're heading to. And this is a really important point in today's message. So when you put all of this together, what emerges from this? And the message the Mela Collective and I wanted to share today has to do with, and the title of this video shares it, is this question of how our intentions, thoughts, words, and actions are coherent. Do we have priorities in our lives that serve as the destination, or actually the steering point where that helps us guide our journey to where we want to be, where we want to go, what we want to do, what we want to be, what we want to think, what our intentions are? Because this is the only way, when all of this is aligned, our thoughts, intention, thoughts, words, and actions. And when I say words, I mean also spoken other words, but also written words. When all of this is aligned, then not only are we harmonious and healthy on all domains of our lives, maybe physically, but in our mind, in our soul, but it is also the only way in which we can actually co-manifest with Source the reality we want in our lives. Because, often, and it's not a criticism, because I'm the first one who sometimes have problem with being aligned with my intention, thought, words, and actions. The problem is that when we have a priority in our head, in our soul, in our mind, we're like, I want to manifest this in my life, or I want to be this in my life, or I choose this in my life. You might have wonderful intentions, but if your thought, words, and actions are not coherent with these priorities, then there's going to be a discrepancy there, and there's going to be a sabotage of your reality where you're not going to be able to co-manifest that reality, or there's going to be disharmony or dis-ease, physical dis-ease in your life, because there's something's not aligned, and since it's not aligned, it's not because the universe is punishing you. It's just because you're not aligned between what you say you want and then what you do, or what you think, or what you say, or it's not aligned with that. So obviously it doesn't end up going where you want it to be, and your boat does not reach its destination. It gets caught up in all kinds of chaos and all kinds of storms, and you're just drifting. You're drifting. And I will give I like giving really grounded examples in when these messages are shared, because I think it always helps. And for me anyway, that's my way of learning. When someone gives an example, I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. So I'm going to give a personal example this way. I always want to make sure that you don't think that I'm here as a guru telling you what you should be doing, because we're all struggling, and we all have our our challenges, and God knows I have mine, and that. But I'll give you a personal example. This way you can relate probably. And this can apply for any form of priority in your life, anything you decide in your life. Personally, I've realized some years ago that there's certain types of foods that really do me wrong. Okay, they create disease in my body. They sometimes even they make me actually sick, and things like that. But one of my, I don't have a lot of addictions or anything like that, thank God. Some people have like some really tough addictions, but for many years I've had some addictions to certain foods. Those included certain sugars and dairy products. Anyway, my priority, especially in the last couple of years was like to let go completely of sugar and dairy products, as well as gluten and other things, and meat, obviously, and all kinds of things. But I'm going to concentrate my example on sugar. And I have a little bit of a sugar problem with sugar. My body doesn't process sugar well. And so there was diabetes in my family. I don't have diabetes, but I don't deal with sugar well. So, it makes my body all kind of disbalanced, and it's not good for me. On top of it, we all know that, refined sugar is complete poison, and it was intended for us to poison ourselves. So anyway, my intention is to not eat sugar. Okay. And it's there in my intentions, it's there in my thoughts, and it's there in my words. And I'm saying, oh, I don't eat sugar. I don't eat sugar. But then sometimes it happens. And sometimes it's not really my fault. Like someone will offer me something and I don't feel comfortable saying no. And so I will eat the sugar. And, I had this happening just this weekend. I was in a situation where I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. So I ate the sugar, and I've been feeling this morning with a lot of nausea. I almost threw up, Okay, sorry for that. Too much information. What happened there? It was not aligned. I had it in my priority. I had it in my intention. I had it in my thoughts. I even had it in my words. But when it came to action, there was a disbalance there. I ate sugar. I fell sick. Now, I could blame the universe and say, well, how come I got sick? I don't, poor me, I'm a victim. No, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim of the universe. I ate sugar. I knew that sugar was poisonous for me. And this is why I'm sick. So this is a very simple kind of basic example, but this applies for everything in our lives, A lot of diseases that people have, I mean, very serious disease, almost close to death disease, or just, some diseases that bring imbalance to the body or whatever. Most of the time, it has to do with a discoherence. I don't know if that's a word, a non-coherence between someone's priority, intentions, thoughts, words uttered and written, and action. They think something, they want something, but they're going to say something else, or they're going to think something else. They're going to sabotage their thoughts with like old beliefs, or, for example, another example I could give is, let's say you say, I put respect for myself and others as a priority, but then, and you have a good intention, but then if in your thoughts you keep, sending really horrible thoughts to yourself about who you are. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm this, I'm that. You're sabotaging the process. Or maybe your thoughts are good, but your words are saying, you want a respect for yourself or for others, but then when it comes to words, you start trolling people with really horrible comments on videos, for example. Or you're gonna start, being gossipy and say really negative, low vibration words about people. Or yourself, you're going to criticize yourself and just say, oh, I'm stupid and whatever. There you go. Your words just sabotaged everything. Or it can be your actions, So it's just something that we have, if we're not in mindfulness all the time, and presence and consciousness, and going within and being with ourselves, and be centered and listening to what we do, and be observers of what we think, our intentions, our thoughts, our words, and our actions, then we're disbalanced, and we create a dis-ease, or we create a disharmony in our reality. And mostly we don't manifest what we really want. And then we feel like victims. Oh, how come life is punishing me? I don't have this, I don't have that. No, you're not aligned. So it's not happening, And, I've mentioned that a couple of times, and I know I'm not making friends by saying this, because this is a very hot topic, but it has to do with med beds. As I've said, I have nothing against med beds. Med beds are beautiful technology, very important, very complementary to our own capacity to self-heal. But the problem right now is that most of us, and I include myself, when we have diseases of any kind, may it be psychologically, mentally, physically, we're not healing that lack of alignment. We just want the med bed to do that job for us, and us do nothing. And then when we come out of the med beds, we're all, perfectly good. But the problem is we haven't took care of the essence of the problem, because we're going to continue living the way we did, which is disbalanced, not aligned, and not having these coherent intentions and thoughts and words and action. So we're going to be dependent of these stupid anyway, we're going to be dependent of exterior sources such as med beds or technology or whatever to do the work for us, where it's really our place to do that job. And med beds then are just a helpful tool that help us do it faster or whatever, but we need to be able to do it ourselves first. And this is the way we're going to change our world and ourselves. And I keep repeating that. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people who have diseases don't want to hear that. It pisses them off. But I'm sorry. I don't think med beds are here to save us the same way I don't think ETs or whatever are here to save us. I think we're here to save ourselves and do this transformation by the inner work, by the intention, by the thought, the word, the action in coherence, rather than depending on exterior sources to create that harmony and to create that coherence with our bodies, with our reality that we want to create. So this was the essence of the message I was invited to share today and felt like sharing today from the Mela Collective and myself, because I think it's an important message right now. I see too many people being too dependent on this notion of being saved by some technology, or it's really our role to be the steerer of our sailboat into the storm and know exactly what our priority are, and just stick to that in our intention, thoughts, and words and actions for them to be coherent. And I include myself in that, okay? It's not a criticism against anyone. It's not a judgment. I'm myself struggling, to maintain this coherence and this alignment, but it's absolutely crucial. That's why I felt like sharing today, because I actually had the experience today of that sugar poisoning myself this morning, so it's really grounded in reality, which is always the point of this channel. It's a spirituality that's grounded. Anyway, so regarding the piece of music that, again, the Cat Power song Half of You, symbolically through this image of like the couple that's the one of the partners is lying to the other, is betraying the other. We have that notion of parts of us sometimes are actually betraying our intention, our priorities, and that's how we self-sabotage and we create disharmony in our lives. And in the case of the song and the couple, there is a disharmony because there's a betrayal there. And the music by Tony Scott, Is All Not One, is a question. Are we not invited to be all one, not only as a people, but also within ourselves as a person, with our thoughts, with our intentions, with our words, that all coincides and is coherent? It's an invitation to be one within as well. So now let's have a look at the collage we have created, which was inspired by not only the music, the message, but also the background, is Antinoïl here. So you see here on my right, this collage, the background is a background of a black background with golden waves and blue waves, very agitated, very chaotic like, which, as you know, and I've mentioned in many CITs, the golden waves on the black background for me represent the chaos or the challenges that we go through in life. And life is just always an opportunity to be confronted to not opposition, I'm trying to find the right word, to contrast. And those waves, this chaos serves as contrast for us to know exactly, okay, what is my priority? What do I want to be and do? Where do I want to steer my boat in this chaos of waves? What's my destination? So, but again, the waves are golden, which represent the gift, the treasure that this chaos can bring, by us giving us the opportunity to know what we want, what we are, and do that inner journey. So that's with the background. Then there's this central navy blue star-like band that's kind of it's linking everything. And for me, it represents this alignment, this spiritual alignment of knowing your priorities and making sure that you're coherent always between your intention, thoughts, words, and actions. Then we have the four circles that represent these four elements. So the upper circle for me with the kind of a star motif represents the intention, which is usually something that comes from a high perspective of your soul, your intention. From I illustrated with stars here. Then on the left, you have birds in flight on a purple background, which for me represents thoughts, because thoughts are often, tend to be flying around a bit like birds. They tend to be flying all over. So it's a question again of having all our birds flying in the same direction, to be aligned. Then the circle on the right represents words, which is represented obviously here by this golden circle with Japanese script, which represent either written words or are uttered words. And finally, in the bottom circle, we have this red background with a tree and beautiful flowers in bloom, which represent for me a more grounded aspect regarding terra, which has to do with action, our actions. So what links all of these circles is not only that really a central spiritual band of priorities, but also this central golden circle with the flower of life motif, which, as always, for years I've always mentioned that for me it represents source, and the flower of life represents the source energy, which links everything. And in this case, source energy is not only just source itself that helps us be aligned, but also the fractals of souls that we all are as individuals, because we're all higher selves and fractals of source that are invited to is all not one to actually unite in a coherent process of co-manifestation, our intentions and our priorities in life. So this is how this collage iconographically represents the message, the music, and the background we have here today. So this collage, Antinoïl, the original collage, is available as always on my art shop as an original collage. And as always, I always mention, when you purchase an original collage, I will also create for you a card, a handmade card and handmade bookmark, and I will write personal high vibration words just for you. And this is part of what you receive when you purchase an original. But also this collage, Antinoïl, is also available as a digital file, which is the same size as the original, an 8x10, high quality, high vibration, and it's the same vibes that are in the original are there as well, which is for you, but it's more affordable for every budget. It's important for me that my art may be available to all, because it's not just art for art. It's what's the purpose of this art is to bring high frequencies and high vibrations to you and accompany the message and everything, the music, the message, all of this is imbued in the art, maybe in the digital file of the original art. So this is what it's all about. So I'm going to let you go here. I will leave you with the two beautiful pieces of music that you can listen to while you can watch the process of creation of Antinoïl. I wish you a lovely day. Take immense care of yourself. And please, I invite you to be mindful, to reflect on this notion of what your priorities and your intentions are and how you can coherently co-manifest them into your reality by being coherent on all levels of your thoughts, words, and actions. Take great care of yourself. Lots of love. Bye.
When you give half a year, I want all of you. When you give half a you give half of you. I want all